Welcome back to A Moment in History. I'm Seth Udinsky. At the turn of the 10th century BC, the kingdom of Israel was at its most prosperous. King David had just united the kingdom and defeated countless foes on the outside. His son Solomon then continued Israel's dominance, and Israel became one of the preeminent powers in the Near East. But it was short-lived. Solomon turned away from the Lord, his heart was taken by foreign women and their foreign gods, and as such, God tore the kingdom out of the hand of Solomon's son and heir, Rehoboam. The house of David kept hold of the southern half of the kingdom, known henceforth as Judah, while the northern kingdom of Israel fell into a new house and a new lineage. In today's moment in history, we will discover just how utterly wicked that northern kingdom of Israel was. The northern kingdom was not long-lasting, truthfully. It encompassed 10 of the 12 tribes of Israel, with only Judah and Benjamin remaining under the house of David, and had its capital city in Samaria, which was a foreshadowing of the utter hatred shown between Samaritans and Jews in later centuries. While the southern kingdom was mostly wicked, with an occasional righteous heir here and there, the northern kingdom was completely evil all the time, with no righteous rulers in its 200-plus year history. 20 kings reigned over Israel, from Jeroboam I to Hoshea. The storyline of the kings of Israel was pretty much full of family intrigue, idolatry, profaning the name of God, and assassinations. Perhaps the worst offender of all was the wicked king Ahab, who served the false god Baal. It was against his rule and that of his evil wife Jezebel that the prophet Elijah battled and proved the power of God against the false gods of Baal. Truth be told, the northern and the southern kingdoms were both utterly wicked, but the north's wickedness was very utter and proved to be its downfall. In the late 8th century, the northern kingdom fell to the Assyrians in the siege of Samaria. The southern kingdom, faithful to the house of David, but hardly more faithful to the commandments of God, fell several hundred years later to the Babylonians in the early 6th century BC. Thanks so much for joining me once again for A Moment in History.